Boo!
What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm a clown. I guess I don't know what a clown says. Honka honka?
Why are you a clown? Wait, don't answer. You've always been a clown.
Aha, so funny I forgot to laugh. Disregarding the obvious fake laugh. Anyway, welcome back to the campfire. This is a show called Scared of the Dark. It's where we go over each and every episode of the Are You Afraid of the Dark franchise. And today we have the story that is the tale of laughing in the dark.
I'm guessing it has something to do with clowns.
It has everything to do with clowns. Apparently some people find them very scary, and I don't understand. They exist to make you laugh. Why you have to be scared?
Watch out for Billy Badass over here.
Are you saying you're afraid of clowns? What's next? You're afraid of Chuck E. Cheese or Barney? It's child's play. And I don't mean like the movie, like things that a child would find playful.
People are afraid of all of those things.
Wild. I can't see it. Anyway, the tale of Laughing in the Dark is about a group of kids that are afraid to go into a haunted house inside of a theme park because a local rumor. Sure, we've seen it before, but have we seen it with microwaved cigars? I think not. So, without further ado, let's start laughing in the dark. Our episode today cold opens to an amusement park called Playland, with our announcer saying the place is awesome because you can ditch your parents and roam the park alone. But the park is infamous for its haunted house called Laughing in the Dark. Once the clown jumps out, we cut back to the campfire where the Midnight Society gathers. One of the girls, Kristen, is deathly afraid of clowns and tries to ditch the group. Feeling like the society is mocking her, she agrees to the challenge and plants herself back at the fire for Betty Ann's story of the night, the tale of Laughing in the Dark. Back in the story, we are in Playland again, following a group of friends, Josh, Ouija, and Kathy, as they explore the park, ultimately ending up at the haunted house. Josh wants to go in and check it out, but Kathy and Ouija stay back, claiming the house is actually haunted for real. Josh doesn't believe in the story. In fact, he can't believe that they believe in the story, so he calls them chickens.
Smells a little foul to me.
The carney that runs the ride overhears this and decides that now is the best time to tell these kids the ghost of Zeebo the Clown is really in there waiting for them.
Pick the right door and you go free. Pick the wrong door and there he'll be.
This added interaction scares the courage out of Josh and he wimps out back to his friends. I'm just gonna say it. I can't blame Josh for backing away.
Because the ghosts?
No, because the carney. A walking red flag. If those kids would have went in there, he would have abducted them. Guaranteed.
What is this carny vendetta you have?
I'm just saying you can't trust a guy that dresses like he's in a barbershop quartet without the rest of the quartet. Where are they? Probably murdered and stuffed inside of clown suits. Those carnies are sneaky tricksters. You can't turn your back on them for a second, or else they'll steal all your money and they'll say, oh, you never won the basket toss game, despite your ball being in the basket because apparently you threw it wrong. They can't give out one prize that's worth probably $1.25 to every 500 visitors. They have to keep those in stock or else they'll go bankrupt. They are corrupt. We need to fight this.
Whoa, 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 chill out. Do you want me to take you to Build-A-Bear? Get you a nice teddy bear, huh?
I know you're being condescending, but yes, I would like that very much. Anyway, back to the story. We have the groundwork laid out. Ouija and Kathy are playing it safe, but there's something inside of Josh that wants to prove that he's not a chicken like his friends. What's he going to do about it? Well, let's tune in and find out. Josh, Ouija, and Kathy are all hanging out at some kind of mini hockey rink when Ouija shares his discovery of the Laughing in the Dark haunted house. He found out the house that stands there now is just a replica of a haunted house that existed in a carnival back in the 1920s. In that carnival, a clown named Zeebo stole the entire staff payroll, a princely sum of $4,000, which would be worth about $30,000 in the 1990s. This also proves my lifelong theory about carnies being shifty swindlers.
Would you let it go?
Sorry. Anyway, Zeebo got caught and tried to hide in the haunted house, but the dumbass decided to puff on a cigar while hiding, catching the whole place on fire, killing him and burning up the money. After the fire, the house was rebuilt to its current version, but the rumor is the ghost of Zeebo is still trapped inside. Josh messes with Kathy, saying that Zeebo's coming to get her, so naturally she responds by smashing him in the face with a garbage can lid.
Don't mess, or I'll bung you in the head.
Josh has had enough of the games and says the whole rumor is bogus and his friends are just too scared. Ouija tells Josh to stop kidding himself and admit that he's also scared. So Josh drags them all to the haunted house and tells them that he's walking all the way to the end and stealing the nose off the clown, which Ouija has to wear to school. Josh walks up to the entrance and is greeted by the same carney.
Sorry, my lad. I didn't mean to scare you.
The carney allows Josh to come in and then locks the door shut behind him, again reinforcing my theories of all carnies being creepy perverts.
Cut it out!
Sorry. Anyway, Josh walks through the house and seems pretty unaffected by the scares on display. Ultimately, he gets to the final room and smells a strong scent of cigar smoke. In this final room, he has to pick the correct door to escape, which he does pretty quickly. But he remembers his bet. He has to go to the wrong door to get the clown nose. Zeebo jumps out at him and scares the poop out of his body and into his pants and shoes, but he manages to overcome his fear and snatch the nose before taking off. All in all, it's a pretty lame haunted house. The props weren't really laid out in a thematically coherent way. They had a vampire next to a headless guy next to a hall of mirrors. There's no vision.
I didn't know you were such a haunted house snob.
I like to think I know a thing or two about it. I mean, you need a theme, that's basic. You also need to have it staffed. You need somebody in there moving around. If all you have is theme music and mannequins, there's no tension. You need a greasy-faced teenager dressed up like a zombie or something to actually jump out at people. Someone that doesn't really care about this minimum wage job and may actually fight you. That's where the tension comes from. It's all bubbling underneath the surface. Because Braxton is a 17-year-old with a dry phone, no text. He lost the game. He hasn't won a game of Fortnite in maybe 2 years. He's willing to crash out at anybody. That's what makes it scary.
So the scary part is the implication of violence.
Really, isn't that the thing with all of haunted houses? The implication of it all? Anyway, back to the story. Josh has nose in hand and Ouija has to wear it to school and also put up with Josh's massive ego for completing the challenge. We still have plenty of story left to go. What could go wrong? Let's tune in. Ouija is begrudgingly wearing the nose, and Josh is bragging about how laughing in the dark was light work, and how those two are massive wimps for not going in. In a sense, Josh is right. The house wasn't very scary on its own, but he doesn't have to rub it in like that. With Ouija and Kathy getting tired of his bullshit, they go home and leave Josh by himself. Once Josh is home, he also sees that his parents left a note saying that they will be out all night. So he is totally alone. But it doesn't bother him, he just reheats his leftovers and fingers a large bowl of chocolate. But after hearing the door open, he drops the whole bowl and goes to investigate, ultimately not finding anything but a slightly open closet door. Ouija calls Josh and the two seem to squash their beef from earlier, which is nice to see, but Josh is still going to make him wear the nose. After he hangs up, he receives yet another call who he thinks is Ouija, but it's someone else entirely.
One day's the best I'm gonna do.
Give it back. Give it back.
We can only assume it's Zeebo asking for his nose back, which, big if true. Josh decides it was just Ouija playing a prank and nervously gets back to preparing his dinner. But when he pulls out the leftovers from the microwave, he sees that it's just a pot of old cigars and a big clown-sized footprint in his spilt chocolate. Josh runs to his room and locks himself inside. The clown is in his home. So he calls up Ouija from his room and begs him to reveal it was him, but another voice breaks into the call. Also, for those of you too young to remember, house phones used to have a shared line, so if you picked up another phone in the house, you would just be on the same call. Anyway, this makes Josh realize he forgot to lock the door, so he jumps up and slams the lock just in time as the feet on the other side of the door leave a balloon message for the boy. Josh jumps out the window and runs all the way back to Laughing in the Dark, which has long since closed at this hour. He marches directly to the final room and the Zeebo door opens up all on its own. Josh leaves the clown nose and a box of his dad's cigars just inside the door, and it slams shut. As Josh runs away from the haunted house, the carney reappears to laugh at the whole event that just took place.
It's the most fun in the park when you're laughing in the dark.
We then cut back to the Midnight Society. The kids are still unsure of what really happened, with the prevailing theory being that the carney was the ghost of Zeebo all along. As the kids nod in agreement, Eric puts on a clown mask and chases Kristen into the woods, causing a hasty end to the meeting of the Midnight Society. So the actual story wrapped up pretty quickly. We kind of needed the Midnight Society to kind of infer what the ending was supposed to be.
It really should have been obvious that the carney was evil.
Because that thing I was saying about them being greasy swindlers with no morals, right?
No, because he obviously was a bad guy. He looked like the Penguin from Batman Returns.
Well, that version of the Penguin is more of a victim of circumstance. I mean, can you really blame him? His parents abandoned him to be raised by the sewer penguins of Gotham. All because of what? He had deformed hands? Ridiculous. But the tale of Laughing in the Dark was one of the most memorable for me. Granted, I didn't watch a lot of Are You Afraid of the Dark because I didn't have Nickelodeon until a few years after the show ended, but when I caught reruns, the vibe of this one was just so peak to me. I just loved it. And I think part of the reason why that is because I live in a city in Ohio that's pretty close to a theme park called Kings Island, and every Halloween they have a gigantic horror event where they have haunted houses all set up throughout the park, and I spent a lot of my younger days being scared out of my mind there, so it hits in a nostalgic way that feels pretty special to me.
Did you ever steal a clown nose?
Oh yeah, all the time. It was a running game. You just see how many you could collect before they throw you out. Anyway, Laughing in the Dark gets high marks from me. The vibe is great, and the home invasion from Zeebo is perfectly creepy. So I'm going to give it 5 cigars out of 5. Check it out, especially if you plan on going to a clown haunted house that is just around all year. I feel like it was the middle of summer and they were just going to haunted houses. But then again, it's the middle of July and I'm sitting here doing this, so who am I to judge?
This series is going pretty good so far.
You know, I was just thinking that. And the best part is, we've gotten this far without having any random guest characters just follow us around.
Got any smokes?